Hello, everybody. We are here again with Clara Bellino for the next episode of our midweek Bellino Break interview series. Clara, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you again, too. So everyone seems to really like the songwriting tips interviews we've done, so we decided to make a third installment as promised. So what ways do you make your songs more interesting than just like the average acoustic guitar pop song?
Wow, that's a big question. Let me try and not go on and on about it. Lyrics are a way that I think, to make a song interesting. I think the more universal it is, the more the person who hears it feels like you're speaking directly to them. Also, instrumentation, that's something I actually am spending a lot of time on this new album. The working title is Unexpected, and actually I went through a whole bunch of music and made a list of all these different sounds that I enjoy separately, and then we combined sounds everything's been done under the sun, but we combined sounds in an unusual way, so we had unusual pairings of sounds, and I think that contributes to making songs, different, the texture of them. And then also not necessarily having I know there's formulas for songs. I personally don't really follow any. I might have, 3 different parts, and whereas, the typical pop song order is somewhat established, verse, chorus, bridge, whatever it is. I just kind of go more by, at this point has to be a shift in feel. And so anyway, I just kind of follow my own internal map, and hopefully that makes them more interesting.
Speaking of writing, writer's block is a lot of problem for musicians and most artists. What tips and tricks can you give for getting past that?
Well, I think, at the end of the day, we all have the same amount of hours in a day and in a week. And I was actually just reading something about that, typically most of us, we have to allot a certain amount of hours to paying bills. So whatever amount of time that takes you, you have maybe 40 hours per week, say, that are allotted to that. And then you have time allotted to sleep and time allotted to eat, and hopefully to also share time with friends and family. And so if you deduct, however many hours that totals, you can end up with about 23 hours that you get to do whatever else if you're working 40 hours to. And so one of the tricks is, for me, I don't know if it's a trick, it's just to not actually wait till the, inspiration comes, but to actually be really careful how you allot that extra time. And so if you know that, that block of 20 hours is the time that you have to write and practice and maybe rehearse with other people, I think the best thing is to be consistent about it. And whether it is, that one week you do that writing first thing in the morning, that tends to be a good time for me because I'm just awake from this dream state and things seem more available to me than if I wait later on the day and my mind gets more cluttered. But just to make sure to be consistent, because I think it's been said by other people probably better than I'm saying it now, but you got to invite the muse. You can't just sit there and go, oh gosh, I just got inspired. I find that by doing a little bit each day, you actually discover things, and that's how it leads to something else. And so, it's like practicing. You don't, become a ballet dancer by one day jumping on stage. And so, it's that's kind of the trick. I think that goes, whatever writer's block is, as long as you write something every day, you're getting past it because you're writing. And even if it's, you write, you spill out your thoughts, whatever, it'll get unclogged.
So one other question about writing, do you ever write with other people, or do you just generally find yourself composing majority of the music?
I love writing with other people. I want to do more. I find it really interesting. I like when I do that, I like it to be that we just make it 50-50 in terms of what the credits are, because I like to write with somebody, or 30-30-30. If there's 3 people, it doesn't matter. I like coming to the co-writing process, just trusting that everybody's going to put their best foot forward. And I refuse to be in a setting where somebody says, well, I wrote that word and you had this melody, so I get, 56%, whatever. It's just like, I really like, I just wanted to get that out of the way because I like co-writing and I like that it, you know, you just basically engage people. I tend to write lyrics first, so I sometimes have found myself in co-writing situations where I was more responsible for the lyric than for all the chords, although I like contributing to it all. I also really like co-writing because if you decide on, say, a subject, you make a list of subjects that you want to talk about and you pick one, and it's really interesting to see how somebody else will take you in a direction you hadn't thought of at all. For example, I had a co-writing partner, and we decided to write this song called "Better with You." I'd had this thing about life is better with you, and initially, you know, I didn't want it to be too trite, and one day my co-writing partner threw in there that, well, actually, one of the two of the partner of the couple that we were talking about, one of them knew that they were terminally ill, and then so we were writing this song for them. I was like, whoa, you know, but I stayed open to it, and it really put some twists in the lyrics, and you know, we had the first verse from his point of view, the second from hers, and then just kind of the end, you know, and all the fear of this person who thought, wow, you know, maybe you're with me just out of pity, but the other person was saying, no, I'm actually, life is better with you. And it was really, it just added so much dimension, you know, when you write with somebody else and they throw in things that I love it, because it really, it makes it, you know, rich that you have different people's input.
Our last question coming out of here is, I've noticed a lot of certain musicians believe that certain instruments have songs in them built in, you know, whether it's a guitar, a saxophone, a piano. And my last question for you is a two-parter. What is your favorite type of instrument to compose with? And out of that instrument, which one do you feel has the most songs in it?
Oh, I mostly compose on either piano or guitar. On piano, I've played piano since I was, 7 years old. I know when I put my hands down on the piano, wherever I put my fingers, I know what chord and sound it's going to make. And so that, in a sense, is an easier instrument for me to compose on, because within my limitations in playing the piano, I can still just go, okay, boom, boom, there's these chords. So it doesn't surprise me as much because I know what I'm going to get. The guitar in some ways is easier for me in terms of rhythm, because the rhythm is done with one hand as opposed to the interaction of, so in terms of playing the guitar, but in terms of writing, the guitar surprises me more because I know, what the name of the strings are. And I know if I put my hands anywhere, I could figure out what the chord is, even if I'm not that savvy with all chords, that no matter where I put my hand, I can tell you, oh, that's this chord. Sometimes I have to figure it out. But I like that because it surprises me, because I can move my hand around the guitar and go, oh, wow, I like the sound of that, and then figure out what it is. So does the piano or the guitar have more songs in them? I don't know. I think they're both limited, really.
That brings a conclusion to our songwriting number 3 midweek Bellino break. As usual, Clara, it was great having you here.
Oh, thank you.
And if you guys want to see a possible 4th episode, or if you have any requests for topics, let us know in the comments or on any of our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram pages. Alrighty. Well, thank you so much, Clara.
Thank you. And I wanted to add, don't forget when you've watched this to subscribe to the channel. If you're watching this, whether it's on Vimeo, on YouTube, depending on where we place it, join us.